Hey guys, what's up? It's Monkazunky, and welcome to another episode of the New Orleans Pelicans MyGm. So we're currently 28 and 24, and we're about to play another team that has a superstar and a pretty solid roster, but is also struggling a bit with their win-loss, and that is the Pacers. So, of course, in this season, Paul George is fully healthy, and he has been the entire season, and he's been, Paul George, the probably second best two-way player in the entire NBA in terms of, offense and defense. He's really, really good on both ends. Typically with offensive superstars, they might be a little bit below average defensively, but not the case with Paul George. He's great. So that's the main thing that we're worried about in this game, is stopping Paul George. And he would just dance around the perimeter and just go for a lay-in on our first play of the game, completely confusing our entire defense. I had no idea. He was using the zigzag cheese, which is something that people typically do online a lot, but this was offline. But this was a crazy sequence here. Not only was Rodney Stuckey blocked, but David West gets the rebound, and he was also blocked. This game would be a bit of a block party. Mostly the Pacers on the receiving end of the blocks, just because this Pelicans team went off with the blocking, and Tyreke Evans would take advantage with a three. So we're off to a nice start, up 8-2, but don't expect that to continue for too long, because Paul George is cutting to the rim once again. He finishes with the lay-in, and he kept the Pacers in this thing like the entire game. Paul George was just clicking on all cylinders. He would hit another bucket here in transition, and the Pacers are on a 12-4 run, and they've taken the lead after we got out to that promising start, which was very, very short-lived, and unfortunately just didn't last too long. But Tyreke Evans cutting to the rim, and he finishes with the contact as well. That's an and one, just a beautiful, strong finish from Tyreke Evans there. And then we get the steal, another unintentional steal with Norris Cole. I seem to get one of those per game, and Tyreke Evans would finish as well in transition. So we're keeping the game close in the first quarter, and our bench unit is in the game now, which sometimes can be extremely worrying, yet Luke Babbitt would manage to grab the rebound there and put it in the basket. So we go into the second half with a 1-point lead, or the second quarter, excuse me. I'm thinking too much college basketball. And Rodney Stuckey just spinning all over the place, and he would finish. So now the Pacers have a 1-point lead as well. And Rodney Stuckey, who is starting, who does not start in real life, but who does start in this game, had a great offensive performance, and he was one of the Pacers' main keys on offense. And he's just a short little dude, and he's very quick as Tyreke Evans gets the dunk. Very nice, and there were not very many dunks in this game because the Pacers are a very good defensive team, so it's difficult to cut into the lane. It's not like when I'm playing the Orlando Magic and getting a dunk almost every other possession. And Robert Covington hit a three. He's off to a really good start. He has 13 points already, although we're nearing the end of the second quarter. And unfortunately, Anthony Davis really struggled in this game. David West did a great job of defending him. So our main offense was Tyreke Evans, who gets the block in transition there on Donald Sloan, which was nice. So Tyreke Evans and Robert Covington were where the majority of the points were coming from. And then another block as David West just gets his shot sent back. So another 2 blocks in a possession there, and another block to end off the first half, which is just beautiful on Paul George, who got blocked a lot. And the three, unfortunately, would not go down, but we do have a 2-point lead at halftime. And look at that free throw percentage, really struggling. We're also getting out-rebounded, but 7 blocks, and the Pacers have 0. And they also have 7 turnovers. A lot of those turnovers were off of steals because Norris Cole kept getting those on-ball steals and getting in passing lanes, and it was nice to see. So we're going to start off the second half. Robert Covington has been hot all game, so we're just going to go to him immediately again at the start of the second half, and he would hit a 3 because why not? He's already up to 18 points, and he is our leading scorer so far. And Alexis Ajinça would just dunk on the Pacers, and they had nothing to do to stop him. He is too big. That is one giant man charging towards the basket. But the Pacers, we did get a slight lead starting off the second half, and then Rodney Stuckey with the crazy finish. Look at this. I have no idea how this dude made it. He was hit by a 7'2" player and Tyreke Evans at the same time. Still manages to get that to go in somehow. I really have no idea. And Robert Covington would hit a 3, though, and get us right back into the lead. He's up to 21 points, having the game of his career so far with the New Orleans Pelicans, at least. So the first meaningful game of his career, considering the previous team he was on was the Philadelphia 76ers. And now, finally, for the first time in this entire game so far, we're going to see an Anthony Davis highlight as Luke Babbitt hands it off to him, and he finishes with the lay-in. Anthony Davis was ice cold during this game, and he was just missing shots left and right, but he does get the nice block on Luis Scola, and then the good shot defense as well, and he misses that. I showed that because I swear 99% of the time when the CPU gets a shot that close to the basket, they make it, but they somehow miss. Paul George with the crazy mid-range shot over Luke Babbitt, and the Pacers offense is clicking. They're on a 10-2 run, but we're going to finish off the third quarter in a good way with Tony Douglas cutting to the basket, and he would finish, but Tony Douglas was not done as Luke Babbitt denies Paul George at the rim, and Tony Douglas is breaking for the other side of the court, and he would finish with the lay-in, and that Pacers run is halted, and we go into the fourth quarter tied 64-64 after some heroics by Tony Douglas, and Anthony Davis is trying to shake off that cold start that he's had. He's dunking, and so far in the fourth quarter we really need him, and here George Hill with the dumb pass that just goes right into one of my teammates' hands. You don't even have to try for that steal when they just hand it to you sometimes. And we're going to go right to Davis, and he's got some space. He's a great mid-range jump shooter, so why not pull up there? We've got a 6-point lead here, which is really nice to see so far in the fourth quarter. The Pacers have been struggling, but Rodney Stuckey would hit a 3 and start to get the Pacers offense rolling a lot. Paul George struggled a ton in the second half, and he just missed a lot of shots. And George Hill with the difficult shot. They're on a 9-0 run, and the Pacers retake the lead, but we get another steal on the Pacers, just a ridiculous amount of blocks and steals, and Robert Covington, because who else? The man himself finishes in transition. So the defense in this game was real. I expected nothing less, as Robert Covington gets a clutch block on Paul George with only a minute left to go, and Tyreke Evans would draw the foul, not be able to finish that shot off, but it's clutch time, so we need some good play from our players here. But Anthony Davis would foul out, and he only had 13 points. He wasn't the focal point of my team. We get another steal in transition as George Hill just coughs up the ball. He was really hurting his team late here, and Alexis Ajinça is fouled, and I believe he'd make one of the 2 free throws. So George Hill trying again and just failing. The dude did not have it today. He airballed a 3, and we would finish off the game just shooting some free throws, and we would end up winning 84-79. And George Hill helped us out a lot with just some terrible play in the fourth quarter, and that's a big reason why we won this game. But the player of the game goes to Robert Covington at 24 points and 5 rebounds, the Tennessee State legend, and he's turning into be a great young player. Tyreke Evans had 17 points, 5 rebounds, just a solid Tyreke Evans game. Anthony Davis 13 and 10. I guess not the worst game, but he did shoot rather poorly, and Drew Holiday had 8 and 11. So overall, no eye-popping offensive statistics, but we were playing against the Pacers, who are a really good defensive team, so I wasn't necessarily expecting us to go off on them. But all in all, a solid game and a solid win against another pretty good team, and we're looking to try to get on a run here before the playoffs. I believe we're currently not in the playoffs, but close to it. So, yeah, it will remain to be seen whether this Pelicans team will make the playoffs during our first year or not. I've already played up to that point, but I'm not going to spoil anything. So, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and farewell.